Hi everyone and welcome to Maven EDU. My name is Noah. I'm here with my friend Chris. And this interview is a section of one of the extras in our course, Quit Wasting Time Management. So to see the full interview, go to edu.mavenx.co and enjoy the preview. Chris, overall, do you think that you're good at time management?
I would say I'm overall a pretty good time management person. I mean, you can always get better, which is why I wanted to sit down with you, maybe pick out some of my weaknesses and accentuate some of my positives. But yeah, I think overall I'm pretty good at time management.
Okay. Why would you say that?
Well, I mean, when you have two kids, you're very involved in a local church. You're trying to help your wife start a business. And then at the same time, I'm trying to launch a YouTube channel. You know, everyone's only given the same 24 hours, and all those things I just named 5 things, and at any given day, let's just say each of them only took an hour. That's 5 or 6 hours out of your day that's already completely filled. So everything takes more than an hour, we all know. So it's a matter of I have to just constantly be on top of my schedule, on top of my calendar, and so otherwise I wouldn't be able to run. You know what I mean? I'd just be like a chicken with its head cut off.
Yeah, of course. So you talked about block organization and stuff like that. I know we've talked before about your calendar is your main tool, but kind of what other tools do you utilize? You know, it could be digital tools, physical tools, mental tools.
Yeah. So for me, the first thing that like my whole world revolves around is like block scheduling. I love block scheduling. I like knowing where I'm going to be on a Tuesday at 3:00, on a Thursday at 4:00. And so what I do is I quickly fill my calendar. And with kids, it's super easy. So I know, Kai has, speech therapy on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. He's got swim on Thursdays and Fridays. It's things like that where you just know where things are going to be. And then what I do is, and then I use the technology to equip me. So I use the iCalendar app.
Which is such a powerful tool. It's underutilized a lot.
It is, and the best part is they're constantly improving it. Like this past year, they put out the time to leave function, which is in Miami
everywhere.
It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah,
it's a non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
Like once you have something on your calendar, you have to put. If you live in Miami or any metropolitan area, you have to put time to leave because
you think like, it's 15 minutes to get here, and then like somebody has an accident, it's immediately 50 minutes, and you're like, cool.
Never. So I love the iCal app, and then I'm an old school kind of guy. I don't get into a lot of crazy apps. I just use my notes app.
Okay.
And so I'll just like drop a bunch of things that I need to get done during the day on that, or tasks that I really want to get done, right? So if I have an idea and I'm like, it'd be really cool if I did this, just throw it in my notes, things I want to get done or things goals I want to achieve. And then this sounds really dumb, but I'm super old school. I like to write my tasks on a notepad. And then because I like that, I love that gratification of crossing something off.
Okay. It's not the same as clicking a button. I will agree with you on that.
It's not. And then when you get to crumple that paper at the end of the day, knowing you crush your day and Kobe it.
Especially if it's like a really bad task and you just like, scribble it off real hard.
Yeah. And then it gives me motivation because then I see, because like when I prioritize my tasks too, so I get all the ones I know I'm going to crush real quick at the very top. And then the really heavy ones sink to the bottom. So I'm just like, if I can get to that bottom one, that last one, and whoosh, I'm like, crush my day.
Yeah.
But then there's days, you don't get everything done. And so you just got to like give yourself some grace. So
yeah, I think by block scheduling too, it kind of like puts you in a mental state of like, okay, this is coming up.
Yeah.
I need to get ready for this. So it kind of puts it in the forefront. And the biggest lie that I tell myself, it's so weird, dude. Like, I'll always be like, I'll remember this. I'm not going to forget this. But whenever I actually put it in a calendar or on like my reminders, I remember it before it happens. Like I have like a little like spidey sense. I'm like, it's 7:00. I have a task coming up, and then it'll go like bing on my watch, and it'll be like, I remembered it that time.
It's funny. Like, by the way, people who don't have kids understand when you have kids, that's going to happen to you so more frequently than you've ever imagined. That happens all the time. I'm constantly, if I don't write it down, if it's not in my iCalendar, if it's not in my notes, it goes into like the ether. It goes into this black hole of tasks that never, I'm like, but this is the perks of having a wife though. I will say this, my wife always reminds me. She's like, did you do this? Did you handle this? And I'm like, thank Jesus for my wife. Thank Jesus for my wife. She saves me every day.
I cannot relate to that one.
I know. That's why you have the Asana app. That's why you have the apps, right?
Yeah. We talked about using Asana and stuff like that in the course.
What are some other apps that you like to use?
Yeah.
Catch me up. Bring me
All right,
into
bro,
the 21st
we'll
century.
bring you in. Maybe we'll start using some of them.
Let me know.
We'll take you out of the old school ways. Sauna's one of them.
Okay.
It's really good to just be able to visualize your day.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to defer or, hopefully not procrastinate. But if something, is taking a lot more time, you can just kind of push it off to the next day.
That's great.
And a sauna has like a day view. So you can have tons of different projects and different tasks and subtasks, and it'll all populate in that one area. So it's super cool to like see it, even on like a calendar view.
Yeah.
And then another one that we use at Maven X is Clockify.
Oh, cool.
So it tracks it's almost like a stopwatch for tasks. Like you can see how long that you're working on something. And then you can figure out if it's taking too long, if you need to figure out a new method. That's how we use it.
That's great, because I was just thinking, I was like, that's the perks of like block scheduling too, and having like designated days to doing things, because it allows you to set aside a specific amount of time to do something. So that it kind of also motivates you too. So like if like I always like to say, my boss taught me this one time. He was like, hey, from now on, your commute home should be your callback time. I was like, what do you mean my callback time? He was like, whenever you need to return calls or you need to touch base with people, instead of riding home and listening to music or calling your friends for what you want to talk to them about, make that your business time. Make that time where you're reaching out to people you're calling. And then that way you're not only making your commute worthwhile, but you're actually getting things done, and you can schedule it. Hey, Tim, slammed right now. Let me call you at 5:30.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And because I have an hour drive home, and that Clockify can actually probably even help you find those pockets of time and really get you to like narrow into, I only have an hour to get this task done, or I only have 45 minutes. I need to crush it. I can't waste time. I can't be on Instagram, whatever it is.
Yep.
That's
whatever.
Great. I love that.
Yeah, there's lots of really, really, really good tools out there. And then of course, like the simple reminders on your phone.
Love this.
You get into the car, remind me to do this. When you get out of the car, remind me to do this. When you get home, remind me to do this. Saves me so many times.
What Apple's done with these apps, it's insane, because like we take them for granted, but there's so many tools.
It's so incredibly simple.
Yeah.
You almost like wonder why it took this long.
Right?
But yeah, a lot of really, really good apps. So Chris, everything happens during your day, right? Like a whole lot of stuff is going on. You got all these different facets coming in.
Right.
Distractions.
Yeah.
How do you limit your distractions? Because it's so easy nowadays with technology to just get derailed and somebody calling you, texting you, social media, Instagram, whatever. So how do you kind of like stay focused on what you got to do?
I think it's just, again, going back to that being self-aware. If you're easily distracted, you got to put your phone on the opposite side of the room. You know what I mean?
It's a hard thing to
it's very hard, but it's like you have to, it's almost like you have to inspect what you expect, right?
Wow.
So when you go and you look at what you've been doing, you have to go look at what you've done. What have I done? How have I done it? Okay, I saw that wasn't efficient. I saw when I went in at this time at night, I don't do well when I write at night. I write better in the morning. Okay, so I'm going to shift everything to the morning. Okay, I realized that, during the hours of this and this, I tend to get a lot of calls. Okay, I got to shift it. I'm moving forward. So it's all about that self-aware, but you have to go back and look at the past and look at how you've done things and how to get better. And you should constantly just be looking at your workflow and be constantly retooling it, because everything can get better, right?
No, and that's really great that you say that, because we actually, in the course, we have a tool that we made that over the course of 3 weeks, the students would, whenever they're working, they put in on a number from 1 to 10 each hour for like energy, creativity, motivation, and like at the end of each of the 3 weeks, and then an average, we got like a line graph showing, like, hey, maybe like my creativity is like super high at like 2 p.m. but then it kind of goes down. So like maybe schedule my creative task around that time. Yeah, so it's really good that you said that.
And you just gotta be self-aware, man. You gotta know yourself. And if you just keep thinking you're just gonna get through it and you're gonna do it, it's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
You gotta know yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I also think too, once again, this isn't like an Apple promotion or anything. It's just out of these.
They're just giving great things.
Yeah, giving great tools. You just have to utilize the tools.
Yes.
If you don't utilize the tools, they're worthless.
Yeah.
But do not disturb and that new focus feature is like the best.
Yes.
Because my day job is in cybersecurity, and I'm on the computer, I'm always in front of a screen, and things popping up and flashing in front steal your attention so quick.
Yep.
Like, oh, that message or that person, and then immediately you're derailed.
Yeah.
So I like turning on Do Not Disturb and all that kind of stuff, I think is
Crucial.
super, super helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you so much, Chris, for taking the time, booking me on your calendar for the hour, you know?
I appreciate it, man. Thank you for
Absolutely,
considering me, man.
And thank you so much for having us to your awesome YouTube studio. You can catch Chris on YouTube, and I'll put his channel down in the description. And I love you, man. I appreciate you so much.
Love you,
I
bro.
appreciate you taking the time, and I hope you learned something, and I hope that we were able to help
I think
other
we did.
people figure out how to manage their time better.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for you, man.
Thank you.